we're on a really big mission to improve the health and well-being of the world with a really bite-sized goal of doing it one person at a time.
Woo-hoo! It's the only way it can be done.
So I'm very excited about today. Our mission at Happy Living is to inspire others to believe something that I believe really to my core, that a better self is always available tomorrow and next week and next month until the day that we die. There's always something that you can do to improve yourself. And when we do that, we feel good about it. So that's what we do at Happy Living. I hope you'll check us out. Today, you're going to enjoy some great wines, and I'll introduce Todd White in just a minute. But before we do that, we're going to share with you something, an innovation that we created called blog theater. You've all heard about it, right? Has anybody gone on our site and listened to it yet? No. Why not? I gave you the link. Follow instructions. No, before you got here. That's fine. One of the things I've done in my whole business career is something that recently has been called mashups. When you smash together two things and create something new. So my friend Scott Berry, who I went to college with, and we played football together, we reconnected after about 30 years, and I find out that he's been studying acting, he's a playwright, he's a Hollywood adaptation specialist. Is that about right? Yeah. Okay. I'm saying, wow, that's really cool. And so I told him what I'm doing. He says, wow, that's really cool. And so we decided we want to try to figure out how to work together. And that mashup of blog posts and inspiring information, and he specializes in solo man, spoken word. Spoken word.
I've done some spoken word solo shows. I've done some solo shows.
He specializes in what you're about to hear. So what we do is I create themes of blog posts that I've written or some of our other writers have written. We've done one on women power. Hey ladies, one of the posts I wrote about is I want to live with the grace of a stripper. The other post I wrote was badass ladies blazing the trail to gender equality. And I give those assignments to Scott, say this is Women Power Month, and he reads the posts and interprets them and as he sees it. No rules. He doesn't have to be complimentary. He has no restrictions from Happy Living. He just does his thing. So today, the last one we did was on eating healthy. And when I first gave the assignment for eating healthy, I had character traits for better eating, a big anti-wheat thing, and a big anti-sugar thing. And then I met the fine folks from Dry Farm Wines, and I added one about why I chose to drink Dry Farm Wines. And so I introduced Scott Berry, Mr. Blog Tester, to do his riff on Dry Farm Wines.
Matt came to me with this. So Matt, I was doing a solo show in San Francisco that I did in New York, and Matt and I were dancing around doing some of that show, and somehow we ended up. He calls me, and he's the idea guy at the blog theater, right? I'm like, what do you mean blog theater? So I coined myself the blog tester, and so it's kind of what he says is that an extension of a message. There's the information that he's read, and he writes it in the blog. And so we read blogs often, and we read the blog, and we read it, and that's pretty cool, and then we go on to the next thing, right? And so what we thought was, kind of the idea was, well, what if somebody takes it for a test drive? Like you test drive a car, like if you take it out, and you go, well, I don't know about that part, I don't like this, or I like that, and maybe, how does that apply to me? And personalize it, right? And kind of be free with the first impression, and then personalize it, and just try to take one. I'm not even trying to take one little thing, but by doing it myself, I think we're on number 15. So I record these on my phone in my office. I just email it on my phone to him, and a day later it's on Happy Living and it's on iTunes. The title of this blog, it's on his site, is called Are You Drinking Toxic Wine? Is the blog post's title, rather question, this latest blog from Matt Gersper at Happy Living that I have been mistakenly asked to blog test. The mistake, it's a big one, is that I don't drink wine. Hardly ever. Almost never. Maybe twice in the last 10 years. The truth is I hardly drink at all, even beer. I think that's a good thing, I suppose, right? I mean, alcohol and excess can do a number on your body, but in moderation, like most things in moderation, it's something to enjoy, just not for me. Because beer and wine, even in moderation, especially wine, has always held a special place, not in my heart, but in my head. I have never, ever in my entire life had a glass of wine that did not come with a headache. And I'm half Italian. Which always makes my father shake his head and wonder out loud, cocktail in hand, how in the hell are we related? And I'm not talking about a headache the next day, or even later that night, but within an hour of my first sip, my noggin is a-throbbing, and the throbbing always comes throughout the night, accompanied by dehydration and cotton mouth. I swear to God, I once had to peel my tongue from the roof of my mouth. And all of it followed by a dreadful morning with someone playing the trombone badly in my head. And yet, the genius people at Happy Living, Matt and Kyle somewhere, not only ask me to read and comment on, in my case, blog test, a blog about wine, but they actually want me to drink the wine itself.
No.
Oh, hey, Scott, have some wine and a headache and call us in the morning. What fun, what happy living. And so when I first see this title, are you drinking toxic wine? I say to myself, hell to the no on the drinking part, because I don't drink wine, and hell to the yes on the toxic part, because every glass of wine I've ever had has had a toxic effect on me. Or maybe I just don't have any class or taste. Because Matt includes a picture at the top of his blog of a bucket of ice filled with wine bottles, and the caption, "Wine is bottled poetry," by none other than Robert Louis Stevenson. Treasure Island, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I mean, who can argue with Robert, right? Well, I can, because I'm like, what, like horror poetry? Nonetheless, it's now my job to test drive these blogs. And because I'm a glutton for punishment and perpetually curious and often self-righteous enough to suffer to prove myself right, I agree to test and taste this blog. Especially because Matt promises me that this is no ordinary wine. This is sugar-free, natural, organic wine from Mr. Todd White and his crew at Dry Farm Wines, which they claim do not cause headaches or hangovers. Yeah, right. Send me said wine and I shall prove you wrong, which is exactly what Todd and his team do. But they don't send me a bottle of wine. What do they send me?
A case.
A half a case.
Oh,
6 bottles of wine, right? I mean, how the hell am I going to plow through all that vino if I can't even stand a sip? So what do? I'm not kidding, it's true. I stare at those 6 bottles of wine for the better part of a week or two. And you can't miss them because I make the mistake of setting them right there on the kitchen table where they haunt me. And I dread swallowing even a single drop. And I'm dreading the headaches and the cotton mouth and lethargic mornings. I'm just plain dreading. And then Matt calls me a couple weeks in. He says, "Hey, how's it going? How's the wine going? How's that going?" I confess, because I'm a terrible liar, that I had not touched this stuff. At which point he reminds me that my blog test is due in a week. I got to get to work. Time is running out. I know. I'll go to the community pool. And I'll think about it some more. When I'm at the community pool, true story, that day, someone offers me a beer. And I say, no, I can't have a beer, man. I got to go home and drink a bottle of organic wine. Which prompts everybody at the pool to go, "Oh, poor you." And so when I finally get home, I ask my wife which bottle we should open, because I don't know anything about wine. And she does. She worked in restaurants when she was going to school, and she likes wine. She'd probably drink more if it wasn't for me, right? She suggests one of the whites. That's as far as my expertise goes. Red, white, and like pink or something, right? We're having a great veggie meal. Asparagus, broccolini, rice pilaf, a Caesar salad. We chill the wine per the instructions. She shows me how to properly open the bottle and pour the pour the wine with a twist of my wrist, until we're finally sitting down with our meal. In unison, we have our first taste. I say. Smooth. She says. Clean. I say, pretty good. She says, delicious. I say, yeah, give it an hour until my head's about to explode. But I have another sip. And so is she. And the flavors on everything on my plate suddenly come to life, accented by the wine. I finish my glass and dinner, and so does Mary Alice. Another, I say? Sure, she says. By now, dinner's over, and our daughter Delilah is in bed, and we're just sipping our wine like a couple of adults, and I'm taking my time. This might be the best wine I've ever had, so light and fresh and clean. About an hour in, my head feels fine. I have a very slight buzz. I'm a lightweight, but nothing... But nothing.
We're lightweights too. We understand.
In fact, I feel great. 2 hours later, no headache. The middle of the night, nothing. No night sweats. I even wake up to check. No cotton mouth. I wake up the next morning, 7 a.m. for my 3-mile walk, and I'm feeling pretty good. No hangover. No headache. No nothing. What the hell? So I go back to Matt's blog, right, and I read it again. Honestly, I skimmed it the first time because my mind was more focused on the task of drinking wine. And in his blog, he says that 99% of wine consumed in the U.S. is highly processed and loaded with additives, an unnatural thing. I didn't know that. Like what? Well, oat chips, sawdust, fining agents, whatever those are. Todd maybe can explain. Mega purple, sulfur dioxide, histamines, commercial yeast, sugar, pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, arsenic, and mycotoxins. Did I say that right? Yes. Whatever that is. It doesn't sound good or healthy. So call me an idiot, but I always thought that wine was just made from fermented grapes. I mean, what are the odds that all that crap was the source of my headaches? I read further. Apparently, Mr. White and Dry Farm promised that their wines are pure, deliciously clean, sugar and gluten-free, with no additives, low alcohol, and lab tested. So basically, organic wine, I decide, is food. I like food. Especially organic food. Now, just to be clear, Dry Farm Wines isn't paying me a dime to do this blog or to be here today. Sure, they sent me a half a case of wine on their dime, but as far as I was concerned, they were sending me poison, not a delicious beverage. Let's also be clear. This is the first time in my entire life that I've had a glass of wine or two that didn't give me a raging headache or make me feel like crap for the next 24 hours. And you know what? I drank more of that wine. In fact, my wife and I drank 4 bottles of wine that week. No headaches, no hangovers from any of it, even the red. What a relief. Finally, I can enjoy a glass of wine and a meal. I thought the deal was done. It was never going to happen for me. And Dry Farm wines are delicious and clean and organic. I mean, as a family, we try to eat as much organic as we can, but it never occurred to me that organic wine might even exist. Or that fermented grapes weren't the source of my headaches. So here is a big cheers. Keeping an open mind and enjoying a clean, delicious, organic glass of wine for once in my life.
Cheers.
All right, so I'm going to start here. I'm going to start here with the toast. We're just going to move this around the room. I just want to say that I want you to feel everyone's heart energy in this room.
I do.
And we feel that electric vibe that brought all of you kooks together. All the nonconformists, the people who believe that the world can be a different place.
Yeah.
And that's what binds us, and this is what bonds us, and it's that love of believing that things can be different. And I just fuel it up with a little bit of alcohol.
Exactly.
I love you. Thank you. Toast your glass around the circle.